Hello everyone. In today's demo, we are going to show how a process injection called Asynchronous Procedure Call works, also known as APC injection. But before that we dive into the topic, let's explain what process injection is. Process injection refers to a set of techniques used to execute arbitrary code within the context of a running target process. For these techniques to work, the target process must already be active when the injection process is already initiated. The primary objective of the APC injection is to run shellcode in the context of another process without immediately creating a new thread, thereby minimizing the risk of detection. Let's go through the overall process. Basically, there is four main um, stages. The first one is the memory allocation, where the attacker allocates memory in the target process using methods like virtual alloc EX. The second stage is the shellcode writing. The shellcode is then written into the allocated memory with the help of write process memory, for example. The next one is the APC queuing. The attacker uses the queuing user APC API to queue the shellcode as an APC asynchronous procedure call to a target thread. And the last one is the alertable state requirement. For the shellcode to execute, the target thread must enter an alertable state. To ensure this happens, attackers might typically use two different approaches. The first approach is inject into a suspended thread using create remote thread EX or empty create 3EX, for example, or by suspending a legitimate thread. The second approach is coerce a thread into calling an API that forces it into alertable state. In this case, we have our code where we are going to use a mythic payload. So in the first section of the code, this is our mythic payload that is encrypted using ICE. So the first function is just to encrypt and decrypt our payload. The second one is called find target process, that basically we are going to identify and find our target process using the create tool help32 snapshot API. And everything goes well, we are going to find the target process, right? And in here we are going to enumerate the thread. The next one, we are going to use a function called QAPC injection. So basically in here we are going to decrypt our shellcode. We are going to allocate memory. We are going to make it readable and executable. And then we are going to copy or write the decrypted payload shellcode and the new memory region with write process memory. And finally, we are going to use our API, the most important one, that is when we are going to execute the APC injection using the Q user APC API. Next one in here, as you can see, we are going, in this case, we are going to target our software called x64 dbg.exe. And basically in here is our main function, where we are going to start calling our previous function that we declared previously. And here we are going to open the process with a handle. Everything goes well, it's going to be obtain the handle of the process. If not, it's going to give an error. Here we are going to just start read the payload and copying it using the CPY. And finally, we are going to call our APC injection function that we declared previously. And then here's where all the magic happened. All the asynchronous injection is going to happen. So now we are going to start the demo. So the first, what we are going to do right now is compile it. And it's compile it. So since we are targeting x64 DBG, we have to run one process of, of the software. Right now we have it. So now, as you can see, Microsoft Defender is fully enabled. We are going to execute our implant. And as you can see, the target was identified with the pit 7112, which match the process that we have in process hacker. The process handle was obtained, and it was enumerated the threat, found a candidate threat, and it was open the handle of the threat. In this case, it was 9876. If we go and we double click and we go to threat, we can see the thread is 9876, which is this one. This is the thread. And we continue. And here is they are decrypting our shellcode, right? And in here is where the shellcode is going to be living in memory. We try to identify our MITIC shellcode and memory. We should be able, and as you can see, is this section of memory. This is where our MITIC payload is living. As you can see, it match, and all of this is our MITIC payload. So, and as you can see, it looks like the injection was successfully executed. Let's go back to our Kali machine and our C2 server. And as we can see, we got a Bitcoin, and the PID is 7112, which match with the PID of the 64 DBG. So now let's see if we can also execute and do a few post-exploitation activities without being detected by Microsoft Defender. So one thing that I want to point out is in order to this enter an alertable state, the thread must call one of the following APIs. This is one of the most common ones. Now okay, so the PS command was executed successfully. Let's execute the second command. And we are also going to try to bypass disable the AMSI, the anti-malware scan interface. For this one, so we need to provide the PIT of the process that we wanna utilize. Let's go back, and it looks like Defender hasn't complained. Let's wait until the execution of the command has been completed. The next one, we are going to try to disable also the event tracing for Windows. Since we are going to execute seatbelt, that is a .NET tool, it's a good idea to try to do so. So we need to provide the PIT. And as you can see, the previous one, the AMSI bypass was executed successfully. Now let's wait for the ETW. So far, no alerts. Now we are going to also use this spawn to 64 that basically helping us to change the default binary used for post protection activities. Oh, the second one was successfully executed. And for this one, we are going to use this .NET lolbin to disguise our activities. If we go back, it looks like there is no alert or activity from Microsoft Defender yet. And if everything goes well, we just need to execute our last command and wait for the seatbelt output. But first, let's wait till the spawn command finish. Yep. And last step will be to execute seatbelt. For this one, we are going to find it. And if everything goes well, we are going to get the seatbelt output without any detection. Oh, it was successfully executed. As you can see, we got all the information on seatbelt. And there is no detections at all. So in this demonstration, we successfully inject our custom mythic payload into a target process using the APC Asynchronous Procedure Call injection technique, specifically targeting the 64DGB debugger process to showcase real-world evasion capabilities. If you like a deeper explanation on how this works, a step-by-step clarification, or even the full source code for this implant for educational and research purposes, feel free to join to our Discord community at RBT Security. We are building a hands-on practical hacking learning community focused on real-world red team scenarios, advanced techniques, and skills that you can immediately apply. If you are finding this content valuable, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next in-depth attack demo. Your support helps us continue delivering clear, high quality and practical content every week.